Alright, today we are going to do the, this is the oil, this is the pan for the transmission. This is for a particular Toyota vehicle, and they make it easy for us to access, to drain it. Not every vehicle has a drain plug. If you don't have a drain plug, you want to basically loosen one end first, and it'll start coming this way, and so you let it drain out into the pan this way, let it sit there for a minute or two, and then continue removing the bolts on the other side. These are 10mm in this case. This is 10mm also. It's a hex, you know, Allen key 10mm, which is pretty big. I mean, when you think of 10mm, you think of a small ratchet, socket, whatever. But in that case, the 10mm is actually big. Now, one of the hardest, actually, it's only going to be about, there's probably one hard one to get to, and it's right there in the corner. So, like, here's this, and you can see it's hard to get to. I'm going to come here from the side. And probably just use an offset 10mm wrench. Or I also have a quarter inch drive ratchet with an extension and a U-joint. That'll probably get that. That probably is the only one that's, you know, hard to get to. So that might be the first one I actually work on. It's not leaking. It's not making a leak, but this fluid has quite a bit of miles on it, and the fluid has quite a bit of miles on it, so we're going to change it out. So I'll show you the tools you need. We're going to use a 1/2 inch, or I mean a 3/8 drive ratchet, 10mm ratchet wrench to get the one that's hard to get to if we need to. I have the offset, if I need to use that, 10mm. I have this if I need that, 1/4 inch drive with extension U-joint, just in case I need that. I don't know which ones I'm gonna need. A regular 10mm open end if I need to use the open end. Yeah, I'm not gonna use all these tools really, but I might. Well, the kind of wobbles around. Small 3-inch or whatever extension. $10mm. It's a 10. Put our bolts on this right here. And I think that's about it. And we're not going to use all those, but just in case, I'm going to have them. And let me see. So one thing about doing transmission, though, is in the service manual for this, it just says to inspect, and it says you don't need to replace it. In this case, it says you don't need to replace it in normal driving conditions, but you would be surprised what they would consider normal driving conditions. If you drive less than 5 miles, start and stop within 5 miles, that's considered, believe it or not, I think harsh conditions. If you live in a dusty area, sandy, dusty area, that's considered harsh conditions. There's, you know, I mean, harsh conditions, people think, you know, you got to go on a safari, but that's not true. Harsh conditions, what they consider, is pretty much just daily driving. So we're going to change the fluid on this. There's a myth about changing the transmission fluid, and there's some validity to that myth. When you change the transmission fluid, sometimes it'll start slipping because you're taking an old fluid out that has a lot of, it might be thicker, it's dirtier, filled with the clutch material that's in there, and it helps it to shift gears. And once you put this new fluid in, kind of cleans everything out, and then you might start having problems. And some cases that does happen, but there was a good video that I believe Chris Fix made about the myth of that, and he just basically says the same thing I'm saying. If it's already worn out, it's already worn out. So, but I think it's a good thing to do, because I've, you know, all the fluids in any of my vehicles, I change them out. One of the last fluids to be changed is the transmission fluid, because it just doesn't get the blow-by gases like the oil gets. Anyways, let's get down to it. we're lucky enough to have that drain plug. We're going to drain it into a pan, break that loose. Once that's done draining, we'll put the plug back, and then we're going to start loosening the bolts. I'll probably start with that 10mm bolt, and then we're going to go around in a circle, loosen it. If I have any problem, I'm going to come here with a pry bar and just pry a little bit right here, or just use the method that I use to release the pan, in the oil pan. And this type of stuff, what I'm doing now, is most often what I do all the time. That's why I don't film everything. 95% of what I'm doing, I don't film, because it's just brakes, it's just shocks, it's just, you know, everyday things, and nobody wants to see that stuff over and over again. That's why most of the time I'm not filming the same things over and over again. But let's do it. Let's get to it. I don't think I've ever done a transmission drain. And this is not going to get all the fluid out, obviously, because this is automatic transmission, and you're not going to be able to get all the fluid with just dropping it out. But that's just what we're going to do. We're just going to drop it out, change out the filter, put the filter back, put this back with the new gasket, and then should be good to go. We're going to change at least half the fluid out of this thing. So let me get started. Let me see if I can't put you up somewhere where you can see, I guess. I don't know if you can see. Alright. Enough light for me. We'll just start by draining it. And this is what I was talking about in that video, how somebody drained this. They drained this thinking it's the oil pan. They drained this, and it might have been dark or whatever, you know, one in the horrible mistakes that mechanics make. So if you look at that though, I mean, that can pass for, actually, look at that color on that. That can actually pass for oil, believe it or not. I mean, for engine oil, because it's kind of like black. So, you know, if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you drain this and it looks like that, like I said, sometimes it does look like engine oil. So, I mean, if I looked at that, I could smell it, I could feel the consistency and everything. I could tell that's not engine oil. But there's not many cars, especially on Toyota, you know, that they don't use this, I believe, for any of their vehicles for the engine oil. So let's let this drain out. While that's draining, we can start loosening up some of the some of the bolts. Everything's counterclockwise with this. So I'll just start most of them off. I know stories I told you guys, man. The stories are real. Actually, a lot of the ones where, when it comes to cross-threading and everything like that, I've done those things. I've cross-threaded. I've done pretty much anything you could think of. I don't think I've ever actually drained the transmission and refilled the see, these ones, I got a longer extension right here. That's why I want to have more tools than necessary in some cases. You never really know what you're going to use. Longer extension. This one, that's not even the hard one to get to. I could get that one with the wobble extension, with the wobble socket. I could get that one with this other one. And you gotta make sure too you don't get yourself in a bind. If you go too far out, you can't get this out. So what I'm gonna try to do with this one in the corner, I'm gonna try to get it with this first. which I don't think is going to happen. I'm going to use a wrench. There we go. It's going to fit on there. There we go. Get a wrench, go through the side. Try to use this offset wrench. It's kind of offset. Might work a little better. Yeah. There we go. It just takes a while. Once I get it far enough, I'll just go in there with the ratchet and wrench from the side. That's a good idea though for the for that drain plug though. I'll tell you what. Because if you don't have the drain plug, it makes more of a mess. I'll just loosen most of them up. I get that last. See your house. And another thing too with filming, I don't get to listen to music because then I don't get paid. And sorry to hurt your guys' feeling, but if I'm going to be doing this and filming it and going out of my way to do it, I want to get paid for doing it. Having some power tools on how I make it easy. I think these are all about the same. See, I put some Loctite on it. See the blue Loctite? Somebody commented, right? They said, "Oh, you're a do-it-yourselfer." They said, "You're a do-it-yourselfer." Oh, blah blah blah. I think everybody's do-it-yourselfer if you're doing it yourself, right? But he said I'm a do-it-yourselfer because I'm using electric tools. There's plenty of people I know use electric. I mean, everybody I've seen on YouTube, every professional I've seen on YouTube uses electric tools. I'm at home right now. Some people have the ability to film while they're at work. Not every place allows you to film while you're at work. I mean, I'll give you an example. Is I'm running out of battery power. Some places, if you're making money for somebody, you're working for somebody, and you're sitting there filming, having your own, basically your own little business go on, not everybody likes that. You understand what I'm saying? So everything you see me doing, everything, this is on my own. This is on, this is what I'm doing on my own. I'm gonna have to get another battery. So I'm gonna finish doing that off. I'm going to finish loosening all those. I'm going to switch out my battery on my electric impact. Apparently having an electric impact makes you a do-it-yourselfer, but I'm pretty sure this guy does it himself. Because if you don't do it yourself, then guess what? You're not doing it at all. You understand what I'm saying? And you know what? It doesn't bother me that much, man. People talk crap about me not having this. I show Harbor Freight Tools. I show Harbor Freight Tools, right? And they say I can't afford Snap-on. Then I bust out $10,000 worth of Snap-on tools. And then it's funny, no matter what I do, people complain. And it's funny like that. And I know people are like that. And that's why the way I am. People think I'm a dick. It's because I am. It's because I've grown up around a lot of people. You can't ever satisfy everybody. You just can't. So you might as well just do what you want to do. You know what I mean? And just know that, you know what? You can't satisfy everybody. And that's why I get pissed off that people are always trying to satisfy everybody. You know, if you're one religion, another religion's gonna hate you. If you're white, you know, other people will hate you. If you're black, other people will hate you. If you're Asian, other people will hate you. No matter what you do in life, brother, you're gonna have haters. It's just something you gotta deal with. And I especially think it's funny though, if you don't have no content on your video, don't come on mine talking shit. I'll just get rid of you. Let me finish that off. I'll come back when I get that last piece off, that last what do you call it, bolt out of here. I'm just gonna finish off using the wrench. I'm gonna use the wrench from the side, and then I'm gonna use, to make it easier, the ratcheting wrench, okay, from the side. And I'm just gonna loosen it up until it comes out. So let me do that. Let me switch out my battery, and then I'll let it drip a little bit, spray it down maybe with some brake cleaner or something like that, and then show you the process for changing out the filter and everything. Yep. So the hardest to get to, the hardest two bolts is that one right there, that one right there, and that one right there. But if you go through the side, you go through up here, up through the side, you just use I use a combination, basically this, break it loose, open end from down here and from the side, and this speeds it up too. So if you got those right there, you'll be good. It takes a little bit of a while. So I'm just going to pop this off. There's a good area right here I could pry on. I could get a pry bar right here and kind of pop it off. So there's good areas I could pry on this thing right here. I'll try to set you up. Let's see. Let's try this. My trusty old Grassman. So I'll start with this one, see if it has enough leverage. Come up under here. Get this close. I gotta turn my music off, man. While I was doing that, listening to music, man. I can't. That's why I don't film all the time. I can't listen to music, man. Oh, look, that's easy, man. Pop right off. It already came off. Make sure I get all the bolts. Oh, look, there's one more. Oh. Now I'm here at the house, man, and I'm working on vehicles. People trip out on me, man. Because believe it or not, I'm enjoying myself. And I hate working on cars. I really do. I'm not joking with you. I don't like working on cars. And you know what? That's the reason Eric the car guy don't do all that engine changing. I know he just came out with a video where he's changing the engine. And you know, one of the reasons he accepted that job. He don't have to accept that job because he's not even making money off of that job. People don't realize that. Here's the dipstick right here. You can see. Oh, just pushed it up. Actually, I can't push it up. It's locked at the top. There's a little lock you got right there. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna flip it over in another pan because this pan doesn't have a. I'm gonna just flip it over in their pan. You got yourself a little gasket right here. It wasn't dripping or nothing, but look, comes off real easy. So Let me flip this over in another container. Let this drip a little more. Just let this drip. And then I'm going to compare the new filter with that one. And make sure I got the right filter. Obviously. I've just turned that upside down. And let me see. We'll let that drip right there. Actually, you know what? Let me loosen these. Let me loosen those. Not tight at all. Not tight at all. So you have to realize if it's not tight at all when you're loosening it, it ain't going to be tight at all when you're putting it back. So you keep that in mind. We're talking about inch pounds. And I kid you not. I've seen somebody. I've seen it. Somebody. Now let's keep track of these right here. Look. They might be different sizes. I'm going to get that one. I'm going to put it to the side. Okay. Because I'm pretty sure these are going to be different sizes. I have seen. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh yeah. This guy, he's changing a head gasket. He's never done it. He's probably just done brakes by himself. He's changing a head gasket, right? And it says to torque down something. It says to torque it down to like, I don't know, 180 inch-pounds or something like that. Well, he didn't say that it's all inch-pounds. So what he did was he torqued it down to 180 foot-pounds. And, I kid you not, I think he torqued down the valve cover bolts, the little 10mm bolts. I think he let's see if these are all the same. That's that one that goes here. Where's the other one go? There it is. That one goes there. This one goes here. So yeah, that's the same. That's the same. And this one right here. That's the same. Anyways, so this guy, he torqued down. He torqued down. We'll just grab this and. Oh, there you go. It has a little O-ring seal right here. Where's this one made? The one I got is made in China. This is a micro felt Filtron, made in the USA. Look at that. Made in USA. The one I'm gonna throw in is made in China. Better not cause me no problems, man. There it is right there. You see that? Oh shit! Don't forget to get that though, because I think the new one has it. Let me grab the new one. See if it has it. We'll let this drip a little bit. You really don't want to be doing this in dusty areas or anything like that. Let me go grab the new one. Take my gloves off. Here's the new one. Part number TF174. Now, the new one comes with this new gasket right there, so you don't want to forget to take that off. That one right there. So we could get some actually we'll just get some of this right here. Look. Put on the new one. Just rub it on the seal right here. Even if I put new stuff, there's still old stuff right there, so it's going to have old stuff on it anyways. Ugh. So, let's get this. It's in there. It's nice and flush. bolts. And we start these off by hand, and no problem taking off the bolts and nuts with the impact. But you never want to, especially on something like this. I'm just tightening these to as hard as it took it off. That's it. Nothing more than that. That's it. If you want to check the torque specs on yours, go ahead and check the torque specs on yours. But I just put it back. If you are going to torque something, that's one of the things you want to torque. But yeah, I just put it back to the way it was, like that. So you definitely want to make sure that you put like a little bit of a, you just want to put a little bit of oil around that O-ring before you slide it up in there. Make sure everything feels like right here. I can feel right here to see if it's nice and flush, and it is. Nice and flush, and it is. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna from the top. I'm gonna loosen this up. I'm gonna loosen that up from the top to bring it up. I'm just gonna clean this surface. This surface really doesn't need any cleaning at all. I'm gonna put a little bit of silicone on the new gasket, on the new for the pan to the gasket, just to hold it in place while I'm maneuvering it. But you really don't even have to do that either. I'm just going to do that just so it doesn't shift off of its area. I'm gonna wipe the pan down. I'm gonna clean off the any material that's left in the pan. There probably should be a magnet that's stuck in the pan right there. I'll clean that off. I'll use some brake cleaner, clean off the pan. I'll use a little bit, small amount of silicone just to hold the gasket in place. Let it sit for 5 minutes. Put it back in here. Start some of the bolts. Start the bolts that are hardest to get to so I can maneuver it around a little bit. And then finish, tighten these up. Tighten all the bolts up to whatever spec. It's probably inch pounds. I might throw a little bit of I probably won't throw any of the Loctite, because you still have Loctite inside of there. So I probably won't even do that. I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to tighten it down without using any Loctite. You start putting too much Loctite in there, and it's going to start spreading the threads apart like that, and that's just going to cause problems. And then I'm going to fill it up. You can see there's probably about, I don't know. The good thing for me to do is I can actually measure. I'll measure. I'll throw this into a container that measures, and whatever I took out. And this is a good rule of thumb. If you don't have access to the internet or whatever have you, the old school way, whatever you took out, put back. If I took out 3 or 4 quarts, put back 3 or 4 quarts. Measure what you took out and measure what you're putting back in. I don't even know what I took out. I'm just going to measure how much. I'm going to pour these into a container, measure how much came out, and use the same amount to put it right back in. And then I'll check it after that. If it needs to be topped off, I'll top it off, but at least I know I'm about in the ballpark. And you could use that in any case, for any car, any vehicle, any fluid. Whatever you took out, just put back, as long as it wasn't too low. So there's no point of me really filming the rest of it. It's really just that simple. In different vehicles, it might be a little bit harder. But this is crap I'm doing all the time, man. Right here, I don't film everything. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment, rate, and subscribe.